Yes. Huh. You guys gonna just relax? They was just trying to get in a fight. Yes, Pie Wacket. Pie Wacket. What you doing, buddy? They don't even know there's a picture of them on the wall. Yes. I love you too, Pie Wacket. Hello, folks at home. My name is Rogan. The channel is called Roganautica. This is the Growlery, where I come to you live and alive from Labyrinth, Ohio. No, Lima is the name of the town. Not even Labyrinth. Labyrinthium is what I meant to say. I must be high. Yes, that's what I said, Pie. Hi. As in, say hello to the folks at home. This is my cat, Pie Wacket. And that's my cat, Zoe. They're both trying to go into heat. It's raining outside. It's been raining off and on yesterday and today. And I suspect what's going on is that neighborhood cats were hanging out on the back porch. And so these guys is all semi-rizzed up. Anyway, nice to see you here. I'm going to take a look at the page for the stream on the other machine because I have been monetized today. I am a YouTube partner as of today. I'm curious as to what that looks like. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to kick you guys out. Alright, Zoe. For whatever reason, when they get to like howling and being sort of heatsy about wanting to go outside, they don't do it in here. They come in here and relax. The rest of the house, they roam around restlessly crying. And then they come in here and sort of chill out. It is perhaps some influence I have on them. Maybe they're scared I'll yell at them. If you're new around here, these are my cats, Pie and Zoe. They are nearly identical. You have to get to know them fairly well to be able to see the difference between them. I'm looking at the page because I don't know yet. I don't know what I see that's different because I'm now a YouTube partner. I don't know what I see. Hey, I got better sound. That's not because of the YouTube partner thing. Okay. Hello, I love Zap. How are you? I don't know. So yeah, I have it now. You can donate. Show your support for Roganautica. You can donate now. And I have membership levels set, but I haven't set up material for them. But I haven't seen them yet to see how they work. I'm just seeing the dono button for the first time now. It's cool. I'm going to play guitar a little bit and hang out for a minute or two while I do that. Yes, do feel free to donate. I am now a YouTube partner. Though I was just figuring out how it works today and realizing there's no way I can just live on this, even if the money blows up as much as it possibly could. Like, I'm still going to have to get a day job pretty much immediately. I whack it. Nice to see you guys in here. I was about to sit down and play guitar, but Pi really wants the chair. You know, You guys are both doing the same thing. It's very cute, but I'm scared they're gonna start howling every second. Maybe I should try to use a different chair. What do you think, guys? Can I have the chair? Pie whack it? No. I can't. I can't have the chair. Charmaine Hill, hello. Nice to see you. Oh my God, let me just put a hole in the front of my guitar. Okay, good, I did not put a hole. I mean, there is a hole in the front of my guitar, but that's the one that was there before. All right, can I have my chair pie? I'm gonna just perch on the edge of it. Let's see. Saw her standing on the front lawn. She was just twirling her baton. Me and her went for a ride, sir. And 10 innocent people, they died from the town of Lincoln, Nebraska, with the sawed-off 410 laid across my lap, through to the Badlands of Wyoming. I killed everyone that got in our path. Now I can't say that I am sorry for the things that me and her done. Or at least for a little while, sir. Me and her, we had fun. Are you really, guys? Is it that important? Because that song was going really well. Oh. No, you can't have the door open right now. It's so weird with the door. We'll get back to that. We're gonna do some. How old am I, Richard Zwalski? I am 54. Preston Lund, birds aren't real. Right. Don't get excited about it or anything. I mean, I do. I had a real life experience with a mechanical fly that I believe was some kind of early mini drone and a CIA toy. So I shouldn't joke about the birds. Where was I? That song was going really well. The cats were cutting up. They wanted to get the door open. They didn't want to go out in the hall. They wanted the door open. They're really into the doorway, which, like I said, we're gonna talk about that later. Now, where was I? Now I can't say that I'm sorry for the things that me and her done. At least for a little while, sir. Me and her, we had fun. Now the jury brought in a guilty verdict, and the judge, he sentenced me to death. Midnight in while staring the leather straps on my chest. Said sheriff, I said sheriff, when the man pulls that switch and it snaps my poor head back, will you make sure my pretty baby, she's sitting right there on my lap. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the channel Roganautica, and welcome to this room, which I call the Growlery. I am, of course, your host, Rogan. I don't know if the chat may be hiding comments from me. Chat's been fucked up all over YouTube lately. It was drifting. The bridge is glued together. I don't usually, but I sometimes play guitar for a while and don't really pay attention to the chat. So I apologize if I miss anyone or don't respond while I'm playing. And like I said, yeah, it's top messages. Wait a minute, fan funding. Oh, meaning that I could just filter it so I would only see chat from people who have given me money? Is that what that means? That seems rude. Huh. I didn't used to have that option. Not until today. Welcome to the first monetized stream. It means you can give me donations. That's all it means. I did set up paying memberships, but if you pay for a membership, then you know how it works before I do. I figured it out. Sometime and the living it's easy. A fish are jumping and the cotton gets high. Your daddy's rich, yeah, and your mama's good looking. Oh, so hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and then you spread your wings and take to the sky. But until that morning, there is nothing that can harm you. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Don't you cry. Oh no, don't you cry. Oh no, don't you cry. Hello, friends. Give me just a second. I'm trying to keep track of what I'm playing tonight. I'm trying to be a little bit better about organizing myself and what I do in here. Now that you can pay for it, Of course, you don't have to pay for it. In fact, ideally, you shouldn't. What a world. Outside there is a boxcar waiting outside your family's door. Out by the fire, breathing outside we hurry until our faces turn blue. I know you're nervous walking in, I know you're dirty bare hands. Out by the boxcar waiting to wait to nowhere, please. It's a wait so long. You never wait so long. Here comes your man. Here comes your man. Big shake to a boxcar moving it all. Big shake to a light that is falling down. We make some bones stop rolling a big stone fall and break my crown. It's a wait so long. Oh, you never wait so long. Here comes your man. Here comes your man. Oh, won't you show me how you do that trick? The one that makes me scream, she said. The one that makes me laugh, she said. She threw her palms around my head. Oh, won't you show me how you do it? And I promise you, I'll run away with you. I'll run away with you. It's a wait so long. You never wait so long. Here comes your man. Here comes your man. Here comes your man. Hey Darth, how are you? Brad Pitt's the best thing about it. You know, he's not the best thing about that movie. That weird fucking guy who owns the pigs. It's the best thing about that movie. I don't actually. One of the things I kind of want to do tonight is go through my list of movies from 1984, because I'm going to shift gears and start making edited movie review videos, so I can show clips and stuff. I downloaded CapCut and I'm trying to figure out how to use it, but I'm going to play guitar for a while first. But I still have this list of movies I put together that the bots were really getting scrappy with me about showing the trailers for. Feel weird about just pointing the phone at the other screen, but like, I mean, here in the technological vastness of the future, that is, of course, something we all must do from time to time. That is, you know, like often. Feels like often anyway. Don't think the timeline works right anymore. Time doesn't seem to work the way it used to in here these days. I hate that I sound that paranoid on purpose as a meme, because I know whoever you are, you will get it because you feel the same way. Like no need to feel paranoid, man. Like we're all bozos on this bus. I didn't know I was going to do that. That was funny. You have no conception of what it is to be around you. You see yourself play hell with my complexion. I'm just a pipeful nearer to you. Ooh, search me a Roman woman for you. I could be a real cartoon for you. Never let your face fall through whiskey. Long evenings we'll be having a ceremony. Deja vu to you. Deja vu to you. I'll add a lack of remnants. Deja vu to you. I said a taxi woman, she's a treat for my sore eyes. I said a taxi woman, she's a treat for my sore eyes. Isn't it time I called a clue? Search me to search you. Isn't it time I called a clue from a taxi woman? Hey, 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 hey. I say, what I say, what I say, I say, a taxi woman, she's a treat for my sore eyes. I say a taxi woman, she's a treat for my sore eyes. I say a taxi woman, she's a treat for my sore eyes. It's weird that you guys being able to donate money. By the way, you can donate money directly to me now. One click, you can just give me your money. So especially if you're high or drunk, if you're in an impressionable state, I encourage you to pay close attention to what I say and the music I play. Perhaps you will be moved, changed inside so that you no longer want any of your money and you give it all to me. If you do, I'll use it to create a sanctuary for my cat's pie and Zoe, actually, is exactly what I'll do. Past my living expenses. Nice to see you in here. So yeah, for some reason, that seems like the impetus to like, oh, okay, they really like me. They really want me here. They're gonna let me make money. I better actually pull a set list together and start learning new songs. So like those of you who are like, yeah, I really like when Rogan plays guitar. I've been hearing it every night for a while now. I wish he'd learn some new songs. I promise I will. The extent to which I can do stuff for the channel is the exact inverse of how much time I can steal away from having to have a day job. So it looks like one more definite stretch of having a day job. Two, really, because I'm going to move. Like the channel money, the first thing I'll do with it, as assuming I have the day job, but it's exactly enough money to live on because that's what's been going on. Then the channel pays for me moving, so I'll just have to get a day job again too when I get there. Unless you guys make me rich. And why wouldn't you? I mean, clearly what I do in here is of wide general interest and high level of cultural significance. This is important work. This is important work we are doing in here. This is an important conversation. And expensive if time is money. I figured out earlier, like rough back of the hand calculation on the fly, that getting this channel to the point where it is monetized today, the metrics flipping over, took about 1,000 hours. So if you're sitting there looking at from zero and the plus button on your phone that lets you go live, I had to be dedicated to this for 1,000 hours, 3 or 4 hours a day, that much time. Except for a few days where I just passed the fuck out. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Nice to see everybody here. You know, Like, I can't even say I'm glad 2025 almost over because I'm not. It looks like 2026 is going to be rougher. Fuck, man. Nowhere to run to, baby. There's nowhere to hide. Crack of dawn. Cindy's moving on. She's talking, Cindy, to everyone. Cindy has her fun. She and me, we twist the sun and sea. But still she's talking to everyone. Cindy has her fun. Well, I've heard it before. Still I need more and more. No, I just can't go away. Cindy kills me every day. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. And I tried, but she looked right through me. Knife in my head when she talks so sweetly. Knife in my head when I think of Cindy. The knife in my head is a taste of Cindy. Oh, 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 oh. I don't know about that one. My attention wandered there for a second. If you can believe it, I'm not real focused. You might have flown too close to the sun today, being fairly stoned in front of your boss. Sometimes they can tell if you get high with them, the boss. Like if you smoke weed with your boss, then your boss might know you smoke weed. Or meth. If you smoke meth with your boss, then they might start to suspect. I'm not stoned myself. I mean, I'm a helium tank over here. Just kidding. I'm smoking. Welcome to the Growlery. If you guys want to give me money, I would say that you would give me some increased sense of self-worth, but it doesn't seem to really work that way, actually. Like, in fact, positive attention seems to make me sort of more doomy and thunderous. I feel like there's expectations. I tend to meet them. I just, I respond with way too much seriousness to any kind of reward, remuneration, congratulation. Pressure in the work itself, I always respond well to. But I don't know what that would, like, here you set your own limits. So, like, nobody's going to come in here and be like, Rogan, quick, you have to live stream for 14 hours straight, standing up, so that I have that moment to step up to, like that. Somebody might encourage me to do that, but they aren't. Yeah, what was I saying? I'm stoned. I'm really stoned today. We're gonna go ghost hunting. We're gonna get one of those apps that just has weird sound with little voices swimming in it. I'm gonna run it through the Bluetooth speaker and turn everything all the way up and all the EQ all the way up until everything's trying to feed back and the cats are going nuts, and then just smoke all the weed and eat all the mushroom gummies, and then we'll be like, yep, This house is a haunted place. I just moved in my new house today. Move was hard, but I got squared away. Then the bell started ringing, chains rattled out. So I knew I'd moved in a haunted house. Still, I made up my mind to stay. Nothing was gonna drive me away. Then I seen something that gave me the creeps. It had one big eye and two big feet. I stood right still, I did the freeze. He did the stroll right up to me. Made a noise with his feet that sounded like a drum. Said, don't be here when the morning comes. I say, yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here, cause I ain't gonna run. Well, I bought this house, so you know I'm boss. And it ain't gonna run me off. In my kitchen, the stove was blazing hot. Coffee was boiling in the pot. Grease had melted in the pan. I had a hunk of meat in my hand. When from outer space there sat a man up on the stove with the pots and the pans. Say that's hot, I began to shout. Then he drank the hot coffee right from the spout. Then he ate the raw meat right out of my hand. Drank the grease out the frying pan. Made a noise with his feet that sounded like a drum. And said, don't be here when the morning comes. I said, yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here, cause I ain't gonna run. See, I bought this house, so you know I'm boss. And it ain't gonna run me off. I said, yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here, cause I ain't gonna run. I bought this house, so you know I'm boss. And it ain't gonna run me off. That went too well. That just went too well. Do we have blue herons? They keep landing at the golf course. No, there was some kind of my God, there's some kind of weird heron that was common in one of the places in Florida where I briefly lived. They were like about a little taller than knee high. They're big enough to be intimidating. And I worked at a pizza place for a little while where they'd made the mistake of feeding a couple of these guys. There were like 3 or 4 would just hang out by the back door skulking like teenage hoodlums, and they're like, but they're birds taller than me. I think once one of them tried to get inside. Hey, Micah, you're not stoned enough. What are you gonna do? You know what? I really can't tell you what to do about that. I hope you can figure it out, because I'm not allowed to tell you. A few pictures of the herons, Darth. I hope you take the opportunity to send me a picture of something that's not a heron. So that I can say, that bird sure is fat, yo. This is much better weed than what I normally smoke. I went through the whole bowl. I'm gonna have to pack another bowl, so I put the guitar down. That dude came by right before I went on. This is bootleg. I didn't acquire it through approved sources. Yes, that means it's 51% fentanyl, but 23% love. And so I think that counts for something. Of course, anything you smoke is 23% love. It's the carcinogens. 23% carcinogenic love, just like the electorate. Oh my God, where did I hide my weed? I lost it. I'm just too high. I really did. Oh my God. It's true, I don't have my glasses on. This shouldn't be happening though at all. I just had it. This weed's so good at dematerialized. It just floated away. A container it was in. It was kind of a light plastic container. And I don't know where it went. I can't look at those right now because every time I try to look at something on my phone while I'm streaming on my phone, it starts fucking with my chat hard afterwards. I don't want to have to put my glasses on just to find my weed. That is just sad. That is such a sad old man state of affairs. Wait, I should do this. I should do the Chuck Schumer here with the glasses on the end of my nose. Okay, I still don't see the weed. Oh my God. How is this even happening? I just straightened up in here. This can't happen. Fuck. I straightened up. Set everything in order for streaming. I should be good to sit here for 4 or 5 hours. Nobody came in here and was like, I don't think Rogan should have weed while he streams. Right after I packed the bowl. Pi and Zoe were acting a little weird before I kicked them out. Here it is. I hid it myself. I have to hide it from my roommates. I have to hide my weed from my roommates. Oh, sandhill cranes, Darth, are the ones I was talking about that we have in Florida. We had in Florida. I briefly lived in, oh my God, is it called Port Charlotte? I tried to live in a small town and tried to move out of Tampa. Things went sideways with the roommates, but I delivered pizza for a while. I delivered at a Hungry Howie's there, where, I mean, it's worth telling the whole story sometime, but I'm about to make it sound like it's more worth it than it is. But I delivered pizza all the time at that weird neighborhood where Matt Gaetz grew up, called The Villages, where Trump likes to make speeches there. It's like a million retired people in Florida. It's like, it's a compound of gated compound communities. It's like rows of gated communities, and there's like inside the outside wall, I think there are 5 18-hole golf courses. And I delivered pizza there regularly for a while at this Hungry Howie's. And that's where the sandhill cranes would hang out by the door. That place, The Villages, we used to hear rumors about the ferocious swingers orgies the retired people would have in these condos. And like, that was just like common talk. Like, this is what everyone said first. Like, about this place, The Villages. Often when I delivered there, whoever I was delivering to would be so fried, they wouldn't know how to tell me how to find them, because it would be like, they're retired people, they're on vacation, they're as drunk and high and pilled up as they ever get because they're retired or on vacation. They're that age. They're like 60-ish basically. And they're in a condo that is a seasonal home usually, or it's borrowed. Like, often they're in a friend's condo. Like, they, twirl around each other's properties a lot. So often I would deliver pizza to somebody and I would be in this bizarre compound of compounds. And I'd be like, I'm having trouble finding Spring Hill Haven 42A. Can you tell me, ma'am, where I'm looking for? And the lady who's the customer is on the phone and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know where I am. This is my husband's brother's place. And we just arrived yesterday. And I frankly have been drinking the whole time. And I haven't even been outside. It's like, I would have that conversation regularly. I was not there long enough to get invited to the swingers orgies, but man, like I said, that Hungry Howie's, there was something funny going on there with the young girls and all this stuff about trafficking. I gotta wonder. It is one of those things where I think the Epstein list is going to come out, and I'm going to recognize girls from this place on that list, from this Hungry Howie's I worked at. But like, it's just a vibe. Like, if I explained all of my evidence, it's almost not worth explaining. Almost. I hadn't run out of better stories yet anyway. At least I don't think I have. I managed to get the bowl packed. Oh my God, the top fell off it. Who isn't cleaning my pipe? Here, Rogan. Train in the distance. It sounds like a triumphant steampunk elephant. Of course, it's not going to make the noise again now that I've slung that clever description on it. All right, where was I? Oh my God, let me just smash the guitar. So yes, I am now monetized to the extent you can donate money. I haven't looked at what that looks like yet. The donation button, nobody's donated yet. So I don't know what happens when you donate. I presume that we get fireworks and maybe some kind of massage, but I'm not sure. And I did, like, it made me set prices for membership tiers, and that I just took what it suggested. I think it's $3.99 and $9.99, but I haven't set up any members only content yet at all. So buying a membership would just be another way to donate. I'm not here for the money, but I can sure use it. The more money I can make quicker, the quicker I can get out of Labyrinthine with Pines safely. There it is, the elephant. That's an elephant, and this is a pangolin. We've been over this. I don't know. Maybe I am extra high, but the train sound is peculiarly soothing tonight. It does sound like an animal calling. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe there is some kind of elephant out there, or something like an elephant that's not an elephant. Yeah, I am apparently extra high tonight. Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen? I've seen you hanging around, staring me down, licking an ice cream cone. I'm all alone, you got me caught. Let go of my heart or give me a sign that you'll be mine. I got a crush on you. 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 I don't know what to do about a crush on you, but it's making me blue. Pandora's box has got a lock. I'm going to knock. I'm going to beat the clock. I won't rest until Pandora's trails tires being upset, because who I am the one. I got a crush on you. I got a crush on you. Got a crush on you. I got a crush on you. I don't know what to do about a crush on you. It's making me blue. old Mr. Scratches on my back. I made a devil's back, an old black cat for a witch's brew. Yeah, there's Satan, 7 sins plus you. I got a crush on 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 you. I don't know what to do. I got a crush on you and it's making me blue. I don't know what to do about a crush on you and it's making me blue. I don't know what to do about a crush on you, but it's making me blue. I got a crush on you and I don't know what to do. That was pretty fun. I really need to get some musicians in here. I really don't want anyone to come in here, actually. I need to get out of here. I'll get out of here. Don't worry. I'll make it. Unless you want to send me money, that's the worry I need. Not much more of it. Oh my God. I'm fine. It's this place that isn't fine. And I'm inside of it, like Jonah inside a whale. All right, let's just be writing down the songs I'm playing. I'm actually going to try to make an effort to learn enough new songs to make it fun to play for everyone every time I play. Like I said already, the extent to which I can not have to get a day job to pay for things is the extent to which I can build up the channel. It's organic and built in that the channel is onwards and upwards, but it's also organic and built in that it's agonizingly slow. I got monetized today, but of course it doesn't mean anything instantaneously. So it's not really a hurdle. It's more like a map than a territory. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're glad you're here. By which I mean I hope you're glad you're alive. Don't worry about whether there ain't a good reason to be. We simply weren't ever meant to make that our central worry, so we shouldn't. The train's gone quiet. You can find me in my dimly lit basement. If your coldness should ever turn warm, but the chances of you ever changing, they're as slim as your two loving arms. So I'm off your memory just as quickly as time will allow. So I'm turning off your memory, and the drugs seem to help me somehow. Now, if I'm lucky, someday I may forget you. When the drugs finally take full control, it's not much of a future for me to look to, but I can't face this pain in my soul. So I'm turning off as quickly as time will allow. So I turn off your memory. The drugs seem to help me somehow. Now if I'm lucky, someday I may forget you. When the drugs finally take full control, it's not much of a future for me to look to, but I can't face this pain in my soul. Hello, Taylor. Nice to see you. It's quiet. What is it? It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, that makes sense. It's Tuesday, and I'm coming in kind of early. And I'm just playing the hit. If you're new around here, I usually start by playing guitar for a while. It gets my energy straight. At times, I've closed the streams with playing guitar too. I've gone through a couple of phases where it was like the closing stretch was a lullaby session. God damn, it's a good thing I learned to play guitar. I needed to learn to play guitar. I'd broken my band up and moved to a new town, and I had to write songs. I had to learn guitar to write the songs. It didn't help. Writing the songs didn't really help my mental state, but the songs are good. Some of them are really good. The songs I wrote when I learned to play guitar so I could write them. But I don't usually play songs I wrote here. Alright, you left tomorrow. Tonight, I can't hold the pen. Someone will have a stamp that I can borrow. I promise I won't blow the dress again. Lights that flash in the evening through a crack in the drape. In the drape, Jesus rides beside me. He never buys his own smokes. Hurry up, I've had enough of this stuff. Ashtray floors, dirty clothes, filthy jokes. I see you're high and you're lonesome. You can try and try and try and try. I'll be there in an hour. Might take half a month, so I was on foot. I go straight to the watering hole in heaven, because I know you can't follow me there. I'm gonna come up to the top of that goddamn water tower screaming, boy, I can hardly wait. How I can't wait until this is over. Oh, I can't wait. That's a song by the Replacements called Can't Hardly Wait. I love the Replacements, and so should you, if you've never gotten into them. Please, I urge you, do so soon. You have your instructions on that score. Well, the smart money's on Harlow, and the moon is in the street, and the shadow boys are breaking all the laws. Oh, and you're east of East St. Louis, and the wind is making speeches, and the rain sounds like rounds of applause. Oh, Napoleon is weeping in the carnival saloon. His invisible fiancée is in the mirror. Oh, the band, it's going home. It's raining hammers, raining nails, and it's true there's nothing left for you down here. And it's time. Yes, it's time. Yes, it's time that you love, and it's time. Well, they all pretend they're orphans, yeah, and their memories are like trains. You can see them getting smaller as they pull away to where the things you can't remember tell things you can't forget. That history puts a saint in every dream. Well, she said she'd stick around until the bandages came off, but some mama's boys just don't know when to quit. Oh, Matilda asked the sailors, are those dreams or are they prayers? So close your eyes, son, and this won't hurt a bit. And it's time. Yes, it's time. Yes, it's time that you love, and it's time. Things are pretty lousy for a calendar girl. The boys just dive right off the cars and splash down in the street. Oh, and when they're on a roll, she pulls a razor from her boot, and 1,000 pigeons fall around her feet. So put a candle in the window and a kiss upon my lips, as the dishes in the yard fill up with rain. You're just like a stranger, you got weeds in your heart, so play the fiddler off until I come home again. And it's time. Yes, it's time. Yes, it's time that you love, and it's time. I'm gonna drink some water. I really need Get some WD-40. There's another one of these bar stools downstairs that hasn't been used till it got creaky and wobbly. I'm just switching them out. It's just putting the house. I really like to just leave the house. What is that, 10? What did I say this weed is laced with? Love? Is that what this is? At night time I go out and see the people. The air goes cool as I'm hurrying on my way and dressing sunny. All the people I see, they look at me. All the people I see. Ooh. Walking down the freezing street, scarf blows out behind. You said, get them away. Please don't say a word, just get me out of here. Get me out of here. Hate it here. Get me out of here. Ooh. When I set my eyes on you, you look like a kitty. And when you're in the mood, oh, you look so pretty. Caught a glance in your eyes, fell through the skies. I glanced in your eyes and fell through the skies. Ooh. At night time I go out and see the people. The air goes cool as I'm hurrying on my way. Glanced in your eyes and fell through the skies. Glanced in your eyes, fell through the skies. Break your glasses, that's what you need. Your eyes are almost dead. You can't get out of bed. You can't sleep. You're sitting down to dress. You're a mess. You look in your mirror. You look in your eyes. You see, you realize everybody goes, leaving those who fall behind. Everybody goes as far as they can. They don't just care. They stood on the stairs. They laughed at your airs. Your mother's dead. She said, don't you be afraid. Your mother is dead. Now you're on your own. She's in her bed. Everybody goes, leaving those who fall behind. Everybody goes as far as they can. They never just care. You're a wasted face. You're a sad-eyed liar. Yeah, you're a Holocaust. I see a bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see a pair of wings of lightning. I see trouble's on the way. Don't go out tonight, for it's bound to take your life. 'Cause there's a bad moon on the rise. I hear hurricanes blowing. I know the end is coming soon. I hear rivers overflowing. That sound, it is the voice of raising ruin. Don't go out tonight, for it's bound to take your life. 'Cause there's a bad moon on the rise. I hope you have got your shit together. Hope you are quite prepared to die. Because it looks like we are in for nasty weather. Yeah, one eye we are thinking for an eye. So no, don't go out tonight. It's bound to take your life. Because there is a bad moon on the rise. I said don't go out tonight, for it's bound to take your life. Yes, sir, there's a bad moon on the rise. starting to go well. Took a few tries. I need a band. Oh my God, I need a band. It's about time for me to come out of this crawl space and get the band together. Oh man. I don't think I want to put Holocaust on my list. It's just too depressing. That song Holocaust I played right before that one. Like I play it when I move to play it. It needs to be on the set list. Any set list. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry the world is in such a state. But we've been chained to it and forced to pull this whole time anyway. The weight's just harder to pull lately. I hope you make it through the next couple years. Stay tough. Be thoughtful. Mindful. I don't think careful is the right word, actually, but mindful. Christ. The whole world's going to end because Americans were raised not even sharing for 40 years after the war. Look at what's happened. Look at what's happened. Christ. Like I was saying yesterday, I can't be the only light hidden in a crawl space in even just this town in Lima. There must be good people, not here, but near. There must be genuinely decent people on my block. Genuinely decent people with style and taste within half a mile. It's the nature of the world. The density of the population is just mathematically impossible that it would be otherwise. I'm not sure I would believe they existed if I met them at this point. We need to step up to making sure everyone around us is surrounded by people of better character than they are right now. We just have to. I wish there was more I could do. I wish there was more left of me. Well, there ain't no money to buy cocaine, sugar baby. There ain't no money to buy cocaine, sugar baby. Said there ain't no money to buy cocaine for the burn your nose, ride your brain, baby, sugar baby. Woke up this morning with the blues all around, sugar baby. Woke up this morning, had the blues all around, sugar baby, sugar baby. Woke up this morning, blues all around, do all the rags and walk downtown. Oh baby, sugar baby. I was standing on the corner, don't you see, sugar baby? I was just standing on the corner, don't you see, sugar baby? I was just standing on the corner, don't you see, to hold me away from vagrancy, baby, sugar baby. sugar baby. What you gonna do when the meat runs out? Sugar baby, sugar baby. What you gonna do when the meat runs out? Stand on the corner with your mouth in the pound. Baby, sugar baby. Leave that red whiskey alone, sugar baby. Leave that red whiskey alone, sugar baby, sugar baby. Leave that red whiskey alone, it'll give you the palsy in your bones. Oh baby, sugar baby, oh. Chattanooga, it's a fine little town, sugar baby. I say Chattanooga, it's a fine little town, sugar baby, Chattanooga, it's a fine little town till you go a little crazy, then crazy housebound. Oh baby, sugar baby, sugar baby, oh baby, sugar baby, oh, sugar baby, sugar baby. Thank you, Love Cypress. Thank you. I worked out that arrangement of that. I learned that song from a Johnny Cash acoustic recording. There's a whole box set of unreleased acoustic demos they put out after Johnny Cash died. And that's where I first learned that song. I mean, it's an old song. I just got monetized today. So if somebody gives me money, you'll be the first person to give me money. It's not exactly true because I have the PayPal.me link set up and people have been sending me money when I need it there. And one huge donation from QK. I haven't seen in a few days, but it's monetized now. You just donate directly to YouTube and they'll give me, I think, most of it. Pretty sure most of it. I wasn't paying close attention to that part. It won't do to pay close attention to money except in what it signifies. Money represents attention, but the extent to which I actually am concerned with the money is the extent to which I fail in paying attention to what it means. On both ends of that transaction, value, time. Yes, you gonna come in? You gonna come in, Zoe? Oh my God, why are you guys acting like this about the doorway? I like it. I gotta kick you out if you're just gonna howl there. Okay, you're gonna come in too, Zoe? And you're hissing at her? Yeah, I know you guys need to get fixed, huh? Yes, Zoe, are you gonna relax? Are you guys gonna be able to relax? You're gonna take the chair? You're gonna take the chair, Pie Wacket. Where's my cat, Pie Wacket? It was raining on and off all day yesterday and today. So Pie and Zoe, I think they've been set off and they're sort of half in heat now, both of them, because there was some yard cats hanging out on the porch to get out of the rain. I think that's my theory. How you doing, Pie Wacket? All right. I guess yeah, I'm gonna play some more music, I think. Well, an hour and 20 is kind of long. Feels a little weird to shout into the void being parasocial, but I think what I'll do is I'll change the name of the stream to the movies lecture format, and I'll just start talking about movies, because like I had this 52 movies from 1984 set up to discuss in the other format stream and show trailers, but the bots have become like prohibitive. Like they just shut down every single thing I tried to show for like 3 straight streams. So but I still have the list. I can point my phone at the other computer, which is a weird way to do anything, but Anyway, Pie gets more entertaining, aren't you, buddy? Yes, when I get Pie fixed in her shots and her sister Zoe fixed in their shots, I can let them go out in the yard. They'll be very happy. Hopefully, though, I can move first, which I was saying in, I think, yesterday's stream. I don't have a plan yet, but I don't want a plan that places extra strain on Pi and Zoe. Because this channel is all about these guys. They're the important part. I'm just here to take care of these cats. This is Zoe, and this is Pie Wacket. If you haven't seen them before, this is Pie Wacket. She's my familiar. She's acting sort of heatsy and snuggly right now. And this is Zoe. This is Pie Wacket's sister. You can tell them apart because she has this fire spot right on the top of her head, and her tail looks dipped in fire too, see? I found them in the street when they were very small kittens. And now, if the plan goes smoothly and makes sense, as best it can, then Pie and Zoe will get fixed and get their shots before I leave town. Before I move. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not, I feel like it's my job to act psyched in here, to act like it's all an adventure. But I really don't like the idea of Pie and Zoe suffering at all, or even being annoyed. I just wish I had enough money to do everything on the easy and the expensive, and just take care of everything. You know. I mean, this channel, in a while, is going to be making enough money to make a significant difference all the time. I mean, it is now. It's making a huge difference right now. It's everything right now, actually. Though I just got it monetized today, people have been donating through the paypal.me link. All right, you guys. Yeah, you gonna saddle? Let's see, what time is it? Midnight? What? It's time to read Lovecraft. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read Lovecraft. Hold on. I do intend to stay on kind of late, I guess. I really... Huh. Oh, no, that is about right. My sense of time passing really is all fucked up in some very strange way. Some post-COVID timeline fuckery. Yes, what's up, cat? Are you gonna make me let you out? You know? Hold on. Oh, there you go. Be free. Little friend. So I'm gonna fuck around with the other computer for a second. Change the what it says the stream is about. We'll read some Lovecraft. Nice to see you here, whoever you are or are not. That's so weird. I'm editing the title of the video. Hold on a second. I'm going to do some reading. I don't know who's next. Oh my god, what just happened? Like, I needed to hear about a special offer from Dropbox right now. My new computer has all kinds of new ways to throw ads at me. It's like it's totally made me sign up for special like pop-ups and ads that would be blocked, except they're internal. Yeah, see, Zoe's crying out in the hall. That's what they usually do. They both do that. Like, they don't come in here and cry. They come in here and calm down, and then they go out there and cry. All right. I don't know. Because nobody's made a donation yet. I don't know what it does when somebody makes a donation. So that's cool. I feel like I'm sort of like being pimpish by pointing that out, but it actually is cool that somebody's going to be the first donation. And that'll be the first step, of course, towards organizing our death cult. Our devil worship cult. 80s style. That means there'll be metal involved. I know I don't look very metal now, but I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out once we're going on the cult thing. I'm going to grow my hair long, and I'm going to dye it black, and I'm going to wear eyeliner, and I'm going to get rid of the glasses. All right, what am I trying to do? Right, reading Lovecraft, yes. Shut this for now. Do this over here. I have so much clutter in this room that is entirely functional. It's all functional furniture. There's barely room for anything else in here. And it looks like Japanese student housing in here. But it's all functional. It's like I finally have almost all the furniture I actually need to function right, which is awesome. Thanks to QCable, I was able to buy this table and this computer. Of course, Pyewacket and Zoe, they were already here. Let me see. I'm thinking, check it out. The Lovecraft book was under the phone the whole stream. Trippy, right? It's really trippy, right? It's cool, right? Am I fucking with you? Am I fucking with you? It's trippy, right? Nobody's in here because it's Tuesday. It's so quiet. It's quiet in the street here too. Like, I don't know that it's ominous. It does feel like calm before the storm quiet. So I guess that makes it intrinsically ominous. But I don't know. It's peaceful. Like, it's wartime. Calm before the storm quiet is. I'll take it. I'll take it. I feel good about it. I feel good about myself, my place in it, if not the world, the state of the world. So I have here a book called The Complete Fiction by H.P. Lovecraft. I've been reading stories from it. If you've been around or you know me, then you know I'm awfully fond of Howard Phillips Lovecraft, the pulp writer. So I'm gonna read some Lovecraft at midnight, which has been sort of the nominal plan a lot, if not often lately. Check out the poster. It's cool, right? Sean made that. All right, was the lamp too hot? Why did I do that? Excellent. Don't I want to bring the lamp closer. Wonder how hard that is to do. I never have a surface a lamp can sit on at exactly the height and distance I want it to be at. What I need is rigging from which I can hang 1Ks at 2Ks at my discretion. Maybe a little filter, a little colored filter here and there. Yeah, it's peaceful, it's quiet. I might just fall asleep, I might just take a nap. What's funny is, if I did fall asleep on the stream, I don't know that you guys would have a way to wake me up. The battery would run out, I guess, is what would happen. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'm going to be reading with the light in my face like this, but on the other hand, like, what else am I supposed to do? Be backlit? Maybe, actually. So as I said in the last stream, when I didn't get around to actually reading this story, The Moon Bog by H.P. Lovecraft, I don't really remember. I guess it's just a minor story. I mean, I haven't read Lovecraft for probably 10 years, but I've read him thoroughly and repeatedly. But I'm going to read it now, so I'll rediscover it with you. The Moon Bog by Howard Phillips Lovecraft. I'm going to put on my professional reader voice here. Somewhere, to what remote and fearsome region I know not, Dennis Barry has gone. I was with him the last night he lived among men, and heard his screams when the thing came to him. But all the peasants and police in County Meath could never find him, or the others, though they searched long and far. And now I shudder when I hear the frogs piping in swamps, or see the moon in lonely places. I had known Dennis Barry well in America, where he had grown rich, and had congratulated him when he brought back the old castle by the bog at sleepy Kildare. Bought back, not brought back. Because the castle was in the same place all along. One can infer, had I read it correctly. It was from Kildare that his father had come, and it was there that he wished to enjoy his wealth among ancestral scenes. Men of his blood had once ruled over Kildare and built and dwelt in the castle, but those days were very remote, so that for generations the castle had been empty and decaying. After he went to Ireland, Barry wrote me often and told me how under his care the great castle was rising tower by tower to its ancient splendor, how the ivy was climbing slowly over the restored walls as it had climbed so many centuries ago, and how the peasants blessed him for bringing back the old days with his gold from over the sea. But in time there came troubles, and the peasants ceased to bless him and fled away instead as from a doom. And then he sent a letter and asked me to visit him, for he was lonely in the castle with no one to speak to save the new servants and laborers he had brought from the north. The bog was the cause of all these troubles, as Barry told me the night I came to the castle. I had reached Kildare in the summer sunset, as the gold of the sky lighted the green of the hills and groves and the blue of the bog, where on a far islet a strange olden ruin glistened spectrally. That sunset was very beautiful, but the peasants at Ballylough had warned me against it, and said that Kildare had become accursed, so that I almost shuddered to see the high turrets of the castle gilded with fire. Wait, the sunset is cursed? Am I too high to follow right? I'm reading good and I sound good. Barry's motor had met me at the Ballylough station, for Kildare is off the railway. The villagers had shunned the car and the driver from the north, but had whispered to me with pale faces when they saw I was going to Kildare, and that night, after our reunion, Barry told me why. The peasants had gone from Kildare because Dennis Barry was to drain the great bog. For all his love of Ireland, America had not left him untouched, and he hated the beautiful wasted space where peat might be cut and land opened up.
The legends and superstitions of Kildare did not move him. He laughed when the peasants first refused to help, and then cursed him and went away to Ballylough with their few belongings as they saw his determination. In their place he sent for labourers from the north, and when the servants left he replaced them likewise. But it was lonely among strangers, so Barry had asked me to come. When I heard the fears which had driven the people from Kildare, I laughed as loudly as my friend had laughed, for these fears were of the vaguest, wildest, and most absurd character. They had to do with some preposterous legend of the bog, and of a grim guardian spirit that dwelt in the strange olden ruin on the fire islet I had seen in the sunset. There were tales of dancing lights in the dark of the moon, and of chill winds when the night was warm, of wraiths in white hovering over the waters, and of an imagined city of stone deep down below the swampy surface. But foremost among the weird fancies, and alone in its absolute unanimity, was that of the curse awaiting him who should dare to touch or drain the vast reddish morass. There were secrets, said the peasants, which must not be uncovered, secrets that had lain hidden since the plague came to the children of Partholan in the fabulous years beyond history. In the Book of Invaders it is told that these sons of the Greeks were all buried at Talaft, but old men in Kildare said that one city was overlooked save by its patron moon goddess. said that one city was overlooked save by its patron moon goddess, so that only the wooded hills buried it when the men of Nemed swept down from Scythia in their 30 ships. Such were the idle tales which had made the villagers leave Kildare, and when I heard them I did not wonder that Dennis Barry had refused to listen. He had, however, a great interest in antiquities, and proposed to explore the bog thoroughly when it was drained. The white ruins on the islet he had often visited, but though their age was plainly great, and their contour very little like that of most ruins in Ireland, they were too dilapidated to tell the days of their glory. Now the work of drainage was ready to begin, and the labourers from the north were soon to strip the forbidden bog of its green moss and red heather and kill the tiny shell-paved streamlets and quiet blue pools fringed with rushes. After Barry had told me these things, I was very drowsy, for the travels of the day had been wearying and my host had talked late into the night. A man-servant showed me to my room, which was in a remote tower overlooking the village and the plain at the edge of the bog, and the bog itself, so that I could see from my windows in the moonlight the silent roofs from which the peasants had fled and which now sheltered the labourers from the north, and, too, the parish church with its antique spire, and far out across the brooding bog the remote olden ruin on the islet gleaming white and spectral. Just as I dropped to sleep, I fancied I heard faint sounds from the distance, sounds that were wild and half musical, and stirred me with a weird excitement which colored my dreams. But when I awaked next morning, I felt it had all been a dream, for the visions I had seen were more wonderful than any sound of wild pipes in the night. Influenced by the legends that Barry had related, my mind had in slumber hovered around a stately city in a green valley, where marble streets and statues, villas and temples, carvings and inscriptions, all spoke in certain tones the glory that was Greece. When I told this dream to Barry, we both laughed, but I laughed the louder, because he was perplexed about his laborers from the north. For the sixth time they had all overslept, waking very slowly and dazedly, and acting as if they had not rested, although they were known to have gone early to bed the night before. That morning and afternoon I wandered alone through the sun-gilded village and talked now and then with idle laborers, for Barry was busy with the final plans for beginning his work of drainage. The laborers were not as happy as they might have been, for most of them seemed uneasy over some dream which they had had, yet which they tried in vain to remember. I told them of my dream, but they were not interested till I spoke of the weird sounds I thought I had heard. Then they looked oddly at me, and said that they seemed to remember weird sounds too. Evening, Barry dined with me and announced that he would begin the drainage in 2 days. I was glad, for although I disliked to see the moss and the heather and the little streams and lakes depart, I had a growing wish to discern the ancient secrets the deep-matted peat might hide. And that night my dreams of piping flutes and marble peristyles came to a sudden and disquieting end. For upon the city in the valley I saw a pestilence descend, and then a frightful avalanche of wooded slopes that covered the dead bodies in the streets and left unburied only the temple of Artemis on the high peak, where the aged moon priestess Cleis lay cold and silent with a crown of ivory on her silver head. I have said that I awaked suddenly and in alarm. For some time I could not tell whether I was waking or sleeping, for the sound of flutes still rang shrilly in my ears. But when I saw on the floor the icy moonbeams and the outlines of a latticed Gothic window, I decided I must be awake and in the castle at Kildare. Then I heard a clock from some remote landing below strike the hour of 2, and I knew I was awake. Yet still there came that monotonous piping from afar, wild, weird airs that made me think of some dance of fauns on distant Menelaus. It would not let me sleep, and in impatience I sprang up and paced the floor. Only by chance did I go to the north window and look out upon the silent village and the plain at the edge of the bog. I had no wish to gaze abroad, for I wanted to sleep, but the flutes tormented me, and I had to do or see something. How could I have suspected the thing I was to behold? There in the moonlight that flooded the spacious plain was a spectacle which no mortal, having seen it, could ever forget. To the sound of reedy pipes that echoed over the bog there glided silently and eerily a mixed throng of swaying figures, reeling through such a revel as the Sicilians may have danced to Demeter in the old days under the harvest moon beside the Cyane. The wide plain, the golden moonlight, the shadowy moving forms, and above all the shrill monotonous piping, produced an effect which almost paralyzed me. Yet I noted amidst my fear that half of these tireless mechanical dancers were the laborers whom I had thought asleep, while the other half were strange airy beings in white, half indeterminate in nature, but suggesting pale wistful naiads from the haunted fountains of the bog. I do not know how long I gazed at this sight from the lonely turret window before I dropped suddenly in a dreamless swoon, out of which the high sun of morning aroused me. My first impulse on waking was to communicate all my fears and observations to Dennis Barry, but as I saw the sunlight glowing through the latticed east window, I became sure that there was no reality in what I thought I had seen. I am given to strange phantasms, yet am never weak enough to believe in them. So on this occasion contented myself with questioning the laborers, who slept very late and recalled nothing of the previous night, save misty dreams of shrill sounds. This matter of the spectral piping harassed me greatly, and I wondered if the crickets of autumn had come before their time to vex the night and haunt the visions of men. Later in the day I watched Barry in the library poring over his plans for the great work which was to begin on the morrow, and for the first time felt a touch of the same kind of fear that had driven the peasants away. For some unknown reason I dreaded the thought of disturbing the ancient bog and its sunless secrets, and pictured terrible sights lying black under the unmeasured depth of age-old peat. That these secrets should be brought to light seemed injudicious, and I began to wish for an excuse to leave the castle and the village. I went so far as to talk casually to Barry on the subject, but did not dare continue after he gave his resounding laugh. So I was silent when the sun set fulgently over the far hills, and Kildare blazed all red and gold in a flame that seemed to portend. Whether the events of that night were of reality or illusion, I shall never ascertain. Certainly they transcend anything we dream of in nature and the universe. Yet in no normal fashion can I explain those disappearances which were known to end after it was over. I retired early and full of dread, and for a long time could not sleep in the uncanny silence of the tower. It was very dark, for although the sky was clear, the moon was now well in the wane, and would not rise till the small hours. I thought as I lay there of Dennis Barry, and of what would befall that bog when the day came, and found myself almost frantic with an impulse to rush out into the night, take Barry's car, and drive to Ballylough out of the menaced lands. But before my fears could crystallize into action, I had fallen asleep and gazed in dreams upon the city in the valley, cold and dead under a shroud of hideous shadow. Probably it was the shrill piping that awaked me. Yet that piping was not what I noticed first when I opened my eyes. I was lying with my back to the east window overlooking the bog, where the waning moon would rise, and therefore expected to see light cast on the opposite wall before me. But I had not looked for such a sight as now appeared. Light indeed glowed on the panels ahead, but it was not any light that the moon gives. Terrible and piercing was the shaft of ruddy refulgence that streamed through the Gothic window, and the whole chamber was brilliant with a splendor intense and unearthly. My immediate actions were peculiar for such a situation, but it is only in tales that a man does the dramatic and foreseen thing. Instead of looking out across the bog toward the source of the new light, I kept my eyes from the window in panic fear, and clumsily drew on my clothing with some dazed idea of escape. I remember seizing my revolver and hat, but before it was over I had lost them both without firing the one or donning the other. After a time, the fascination of the red radiance overcame my fright, and I crept to the east window and looked out, whilst the maddening, incessant piping whined and reverberated through the castle and over all the village. Over the bog was a deluge of flaring light, scarlet and sinister, and pouring from the strange olden ruin on the far islet. The aspect of that ruin I cannot describe. I must have been mad, for it seemed to me majestic and undecayed, splendid and column cinctured, the flame reflecting marble of its entablature piercing the sky like the apex of a temple on a mountain top. Flutes shrieked and drums began to beat. And as I watched in awe and terror, I thought I saw dark saltant forms silhouetted grotesquely against the vision of marble and effulgence. The effect was titanic, altogether unthinkable, and I might have stared indefinitely had not the sound of the piping seemed to grow stronger at my left. Trembling with a terror oddly mixed with ecstasy, I crossed the circular room to the north window from which I could see the village and the plain at the edge of the bog. There my eyes dilated again with a wild wonder as great as if I had not just turned from a scene beyond the pale of nature, for on the ghastly, red-lit plain was moving a procession of beings in such a manner as none ever saw before save in nightmares. Half gliding, half floating in the air, the white-clad bog wraiths were slowly retreating toward the still waters and the island ruin in fantastic formation suggesting some ancient and solemn ceremonial dance. Their waving translucent arms, guided by the detestable piping of those unseen flutes, beckoned in uncanny rhythm to a throng of lurching laborers who followed dog-like with blind, brainless, floundering steps as if dragged by a clumsy but resistless demon will. As the naiads neared the bog, without altering their course, a new line of stumbling stragglers zigzagged drunkenly out of the castle from some door far below my window, groped sightlessly across the courtyard and through the intervening bit of village, and joined the floundering column of laborers on the plain. Despite their distance below me, I at once knew they were the servants brought from the north, for I recognized the ugly and unwieldy form of the cook, whose very absurdness had now become unutterably tragic. The flutes piped horribly, and again I heard the beating of the drums from the direction of the hill and ruin. Then, silently and gracefully, the naiads reached the water and melted one by one into the ancient bog, while the line of followers, never checking their speed, splashed awkwardly after them and vanished amidst a tiny vortex of unwholesome bubbles which I could barely see in the scarlet light. And as the last pathetic straggler, the fat cook, sank heavily out of sight in that sullen pool, the flutes and the drums grew silent, and the blinding red rays from the ruins snapped instantaneously out, leaving the village of doom lone and desolate in the wan beams of a new-risen moon. My condition was now one of indescribable chaos. Not knowing whether I was mad or sane, sleeping or waking, I was saved only by a merciful numbness. I believe I did ridiculous things, such as offering prayers to Artemis, Latona, Demeter, Persephone, and Plaudon. All that I recalled of classic youth came to my lips as the horrors of the situation roused my deepest superstitions. I felt that I had witnessed the death of a whole village, and knew I was alone in the castle with Dennis Barry, whose boldness had brought down a doom. As I thought of him, new terrors convulsed me, and I fell to the floor, not fainting, but physically helpless. Then I felt the icy blast from the east window where the moon had risen, and began to hear the shrieks in the castle far below me. Soon those shrieks had attained a magnitude and quality which cannot be written of, and which make me faint as I think of them. All I can say is that they came from something I had known as a friend. At some time during this shocking period, the cold wind and the screaming must have roused me, for my next impression is of racing madly through inky rooms and corridors and out across the courtyard into the hideous night. They found me at dawn wandering mindless near Ballylough, but what unhinged me utterly was not any of the horrors I had seen or heard before. What I muttered about as I came slowly out of the shadows was a pair of fantastic incidents which occurred in my flight, incidents of no significance, yet which haunt me unceasingly when I am alone in certain marshy places or in the moonlight. As I fled from that accursed castle along the bog's edge, I heard a new sound, common, yet unlike any I had heard before at Kildare. The stagnant waters, lately quite devoid of animal life, now teemed with a horde of slimy, enormous frogs which piped shrilly and incessantly in tones strangely out of keeping with their size. They glistened bloated and green in the moonbeams and seemed to gaze up at the fount of light. I followed the gaze of one very fat and ugly frog and saw the second of the things which drove my senses away. stretching directly from the strange olden ruin on the far islet to the waning moon. My eyes seemed to trace a beam of faint, quivering radiance having no reflection in the waters of the bog. And upward along that pallid path my fevered fancy pictured a thin shadow slowly writhing, a vague, contorted shadow struggling as if drawn by unseen demons. Crazed as I was, I saw in that awful shadow a monstrous resemblance, a nauseous, unbelievable caricature, a blasphemous effigy of him who had been Dennis Barry. Man, the trains are aggressive tonight. Do you hear that? It must be train. Oh my God, I dropped the connection during a good joke. I said it must be train mating season. Ain't nobody in here to hear my jokes tonight. Man, it's dead. But I'm live. I'm alive. I'm alive. How much Lovecraft is that? Is that enough Lovecraft? I don't know if that's enough. I mean, it is and it isn't. Yeah, I'm gonna read this very. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna read that as a Toth. Maybe I'll hold on. Yeah, all right. All right, I'm going to read chapter 1 of Herbert West, Re-Animator. I'm going to go walk over here. I'm going to change the name of the stream. Herbert West, Re-Animator has become one of Lovecraft's most famous stories because of the 1985 movie starring Jeffrey Combs, directed by Stuart Gordon, the screenwriter of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. A classic movie, truly great movie. The tone is not very Lovecraft, but I think Lovecraft probably would have liked it. It was originally, well, hold on, I'm going to change that. Let me do this in the right order. Let me do this in regular Roganautica order. Okay, I'm going to change the name of that. I'm going to give myself verbal instructions. I'm going to change the name of the stream again. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to read some Re-Animator. I'm going to bring my pipe. It's going to be rad. We're going to have fun. What? We're going to have fun. What do you mean? The time for fun has passed. Here in the technological vastness of the future, we know, of course, that the time for fun is entirely past. It's entirely in the past. It's the past. We've passed it. Is what you might be thinking to yourself. No. I say no. No. I want fun. We want fun. I don't really want fun. I've given up, but I'm speaking on your behalf to the gods and the world and myself and my capacity to entertain you. Bring fun. Send more fun. Nobody's here. I'm in good form tonight. Ain't nobody in here sometimes when I'm on. Oh, I did have my pipe the whole time. It was in my pocket the whole time. It was like the ruby slippers in, what do you call it? Star Wars. The ruby slippers in Star Wars. Give me just a second to fuck with my shit here.
I assume that actually works, and that's not what it says what the stream is called. Yes. Good. Works. The magic works. And now I've lost my lead again. Nope, here it is. Excellent. Everything is going smoothly. And we're going to pretend that means it's going well. Actually, it's going well. There's just nobody here. I don't know, maybe 30 people came in while I had my back to the camera. I need to learn not to pay attention to whether or not people are paying attention. Just keep going. I try to be more interesting when more people come in, but it's weird. You kind of can't, like, do anything about that. You kind of can't chase it either way. So Herbert West Re-Animator by Howard Phillips Lovecraft was for a very long time one of his most obscure stories. Everyone who had read Lovecraft thoroughly thought it was basically dismissible. At least the first couple of August Derleth collections reprinting Lovecraft's magazine fiction after his death did not collect Re-Animator. I don't think it was in any of the 80s paperbacks with the really cool Michael Whelan covers. For a couple of reasons. It is really good. It was underrated. Now that the movie from 1985 has made it one of his most famous stories, it's maybe in fact a little overrated. It is probably the only one of his major works that's straight poisoned by his youthful racist attitude problem. He grew up in you read all his work in order, you can see this sort of snobbish white supremacist latent white supremacist attitude in his work. He irons it out as he goes along. He works it out through the cosmic horror thing, which we'll talk about as those elements unfold across a bunch of stories. Herbert West Re-Animator is the only one that I remember being marred by racism. It's really just the descriptions of a zombie that they reanimate seem racist. It's like the verbal equivalent of like dressing a guy up to look like a jungle savage. But I don't remember. I've only read it a couple of times. It's been 10 years. We'll rediscover it together. One of the reasons, perhaps the other reason, this story wasn't usually reprinted before the modern era, before the Joshi editorial era in the Lovecraft development of Lovecraft's reputation in the reprints. It's one of two stories Lovecraft wrote for a very odd specific market. I would have to look it up. It's worth looking up. There's a pulp magazine that Lovecraft did not like to write for, that generally nobody liked to write for this very specific market. It paid well, but you had to follow really strict instructions. So in the pulp magazine era, there were all kinds of different formats for short stories, short novels, anything ranging up to about 75,000 words would get one way or another sort of turned into short fiction for the market. There were gajillion magazines. One thing they like to do was take long short stories and call them novels and serialize them. So it would be like these were presented as 5-part novels, but they were really only, I don't know, maybe 30, 35 pages. And like they're kind of long for short stories. They're not that long. I think each of the 5 segments is 10,000 words maybe. So the specific instructions from this editor were, it had to be straight, dumb, creepy, gross horror. Lots of gore for the pulp era. Lots of just old-fashioned freak out, zombies, stuff like that. And each of the 5 segments had to be able to stand alone, had to recap what had gone before, and set up the next segment so that all 5 issues of the magazine that published the 5 segments would sort of tie into and promote each other. So it was a very tricky market to write for. And Lovecraft wrote 2 stories that fit this format. Herbert
Re-Animator is one of them. The other one's called The Lurking Fear, which has also been made into a couple of movies. So I'm going to read Herbert West Re-Animator. I'm going to read at least one segment of it. Like I just explained, it's in 5, I think. You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I didn't do any research. This is 10-year-old memory, so, double check me on anything factual here. But I think it's 5 readings of probably, I don't know, how long are they? Let's see. Yeah, each one takes about 12, 13 minutes to read. So yeah, altogether kind of a long short story. It's also this. It should be said of this story, and generally, I think it's a fault in the way Lovecraft is read. Meaning, I think it's a fault in the sort of autistic-facing attitude problem of the professional scholars and historians who study fiction and decide what's canonized and why. I don't think Lovecraft is often understood to have a very dry and deadpan sense of humor for this stuff. I don't think he's often given the credit to understand that old-fashioned horror stuff, the Saturday Night Hammer horror kind of spookery, it is fun but silly, and that at the same time he was into this sort of futurist and modernist reinterpretation, new understandings of ways to do cosmic horror in his time. He also had a sense of humor. He knew when he was being silly. He doesn't really, when he makes jokes that are obviously jokes, they're kind of stiff. He's like Edgar Poe like that. But he also plays stuff for, the kind of laughs that I would play it for in here. Like he was not a weed smoker. His buddies were not stoners and drunks in the same sense as the crowd that comes in here. Or children. Sometimes kids come in here. Not children, but kids. People not old enough to be stoned or drunk. People young enough to be understood to have a real interest in fiction as part of their normal pursuits. Yeah, that's about right. I think that Lovecraft is more fun than he is often given credit for. And he's more like silly Halloween-y kind of fun. And I think more and more as time passes is one of the reasons I was thinking of the youngest possible audience. Like I've been saying, Lovecraft has lots of parallels to and is a huge central influence on analog horror, internet horror, and analog horror. And so his reputation just keeps growing. By the time I'm deceased, he will have become one of the most important authors of the 20th century. When I first discovered him when I was 13, nobody really much liked Lovecraft. Even the science fiction and horror fans, just like the general opinion was that he was a little weird and kind of stiff and not a very good stylist. And the older nerds who told me that when I was young were so wrong. And the current generation of detractors, for one thing, I would say I think that Lovecraft is one of those writers that people who don't get the joke become attackers, like Tolkien or the Bible or Hemingway, like people who, or James Joyce. No, that one not so much. People don't want to look stupid, but I think that people attack Lovecraft on various fronts because they so don't get the joke that their normal response is to go, "That's stupid." And then they come up with reasons to think it's stupid. It's just sort of over their heads, and we should pity them, we who can enjoy Lovecraft. Anyway, here we go. There were a couple people in here, and they ran out because I went on too long. See, I got to stop looking at the number. I got to just pretend there's 50 people in here and go like I'm psycho like that. And then when the 50 people come in, they won't surprise me. Chapter 1 of Herbert West Re-Animator by Howard Phillips Lovecraft. From the Dark. Of Herbert West, who was my friend in college and in afterlife, I can speak only with extreme terror. This terror is not due altogether to the sinister manner of his recent disappearance, but was engendered by the whole nature of his life work, and first gained its acute form more than 17 years ago, when we were in the 3rd year of our course at the Miskatonic University Medical School in Arkham. While he was with me, the wonder and diabolism of his experiments fascinated me utterly, and I was his closest companion. Now that he's gone and the spell is broken, the actual fear is greater. Memories and possibilities are ever more hideous than realities. The first horrible incident of our acquaintance was the greatest shock I ever experienced, and it is only with reluctance that I repeat it. As I have said, it happened when we were in the medical school, where West had already made himself notorious through his wild theories on the nature of death and the possibility of overcoming it artificially. His views, which were widely ridiculed by the faculty and his fellow students, hinged on the essentially mechanistic nature of life and concerned means for operating the organic machinery of mankind by calculated chemical action after the failure of natural processes. In his experiments with various animating solutions, he had killed and treated immense numbers of rabbits, guinea pigs, cats, dogs, and monkeys, till he had become the prime nuisance of the college. Several times he had actually obtained signs of life in animals supposedly dead, in many cases violent signs. But he soon saw that the perfection of the process, if indeed possible, would necessarily involve a lifetime of research. It likewise became clear that, since the same solution never worked alike on different organic species, he would require human subjects for further and more specialized progress. It was here that he first came into conflict with the college authorities, and was debarred from future experiments by no less a dignitary than the dean of the medical school himself, the learned and benevolent Dr. Allen Halsey, whose work in behalf of the stricken is recalled by every old resident of Arkham. By the way, if you happen to not know, Arkham, as in Arkham Asylum from the Batman comic books, that's a reference to H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft invented several fictional towns in Massachusetts to set his stories in. Um, I I can't remember what actual city Arkham kind of corresponds to. Um, but in any case, when the Batman comics started using it for Arkham Asylum, the location in the Batman comics, it was a reference to H.P. Lovecraft. It was an obscure reference when they started doing that. 200 M. Walid Mazar. Thank you. If you mean that you're about to give me $200, I thank you very much. I've been wearing the same shirt for almost a month. I have 5 identical shirts. So that's how that works. I need more, actually. I need 3 or 4 more. I had always been exceptionally tolerant of West's pursuits, and we frequently discussed his theories, whose ramifications and corollaries were almost infinite. Holding with Haeckel that all life is a chemical and physical process, and that the so-called soul is a myth, my friend believed that artificial reanimation of the dead can depend only on the condition of the tissues, and that unless actual decomposition has set in, a corpse fully equipped with organs may, with suitable measures, be set going again in the peculiar fashion known as life. That the psychic or intellectual life might be impaired by the slight deterioration of sensitive brain cells, which even a short period of death would be apt to cause, West fully realized. It had at first been his hope to find a reagent which would restore vitality before the actual advent of death, and only repeated failures on animals had shown him that the natural and artificial life motions were incompatible. He then sought extreme freshness in his specimens, injecting his solutions into the blood immediately after the extinction of life. It was this circumstance which made the professors so carelessly skeptical, for they felt that true death had not occurred in any case. They did not stop to view the matter closely and reasoningly. You came here to talk something real, M. Walid Mazar? Sure. Sure. I'm always willing to drop reading to talk about anything else. The book, it's already printed. It'll be still here later. For a while anyway. I mean, all things must pass. Even books. The library at Alexandria is gone, and then eventually the memory of that library will go after it into the void. I'm gonna read a little bit more of this. I will answer your questions or address your concerns, Waleed, as they surface in the chat. I, of course, am always available to hierophant it up in here. It was not long after the faculty had interdicted his work that West confided to me his resolution to get fresh human bodies in some manner and continue in secret the experiments he could no longer perform openly. To hear him discussing ways and means was rather ghastly, for at the college we had never procured anatomical specimens ourselves. Whenever the morgue proved inadequate, 2 local Negroes attended to this matter, and they were seldom questioned. West was then a small, slender, spectacled youth with delicate features, yellow hair, pale blue eyes, and a soft voice, and it was uncanny to hear him dwelling on the relative merits of Christchurch Cemetery and the Potter's Field. We finally decided on the Potter's Field because practically everybody in Christchurch was embalmed, a thing of course ruinous to West's researches. Have you ever think that why God created us? Have you ever think that when will you die after what happened? Have you ever think where you'll go in heaven or hell? No, Waleed. I do not. I'm very religious and godly. I pray constantly. I walk with God, as they say. But I don't think that it's God's intent that we should particularly concern ourselves with the afterlife. Whatever it is certainly beyond our comprehension, and we have no access to understanding it here. That seems to be by design. I don't particularly concern myself with it. Yes, the world is temporary. Yes. Yes. I'm very, very involved and practical ideas about the relationship between the spiritual and the material. But I don't worry about the afterlife. Whatever it is will see to itself. I'm sure I'll know what I'm supposed to do when I get there, or not. I'll be in the same boat as everyone else. I mean, I doubt individual ego consciousness passes the veil. I suspect we're just reabsorbed into the God consciousness, along with everything else in the universe when it crumbles or burns. But I mean, that's, I don't really think about it much. I feel like it's a distraction. I feel like worrying about the afterlife, what comes after the end of consciousness and life, and what came before it. It just seems like it's sort of a distraction. It's like sitting in a darkened movie theater, thinking about what's outside the building the theater is in, or like while you're playing a video game, getting distracted by other things going on in the room. Like focus on the game, focus on the task at hand. That's what I think. Yeah. Inshallah, everything will work itself out at the end of time, at the end of my life. So, and there isn't really a theory to an afterlife in which I do a bad job of it by intentionally being the best person I can possibly be, morally and ethically upright and sound, and praying and walking in prayer. Like, I don't know what else I could do, so I got it covered. But I don't even think about that way. Like, I really just don't concern myself with the afterlife and like reward or punishment. If I did, then I'd start worrying about who needs to be punished, and that's just a drag and a waste of time. Right, this life is a test. This world is a distraction. The main purpose of this life is to prepare for the afterlife that will never end. Well, maybe. I don't know what the purpose of the test is. If I get some better idea for how to pass the test than I have now, I'll share it. But yeah, it's a test for sure. Feels like a punishment to me also, like a prison, like we're serving time. But there's some traditional Jewish ideas that cover most of that in terms of what we're intended to think it's for. But I don't really worry about it. Like, God has made life pretty hellish, pretty difficult. Seems like it's a moral and ethical test. Seems like that's intentional. There's enough evidence in the landscape to believe in a mystical, engaged God as the author. And I try to follow his will. It seems like things go a little better when I do. Might be a head game. But I don't worry about the afterlife. Yeah, I would have to worry about who goes to hell if I thought there was a heaven. Like Jelly said in here a couple weeks ago, everybody goes to heaven. It's fun. And the animals and the plants even. All consciousness passes through the veil through the same needle's eye, is what I think. Okay, I'm going to finish reading this chapter of Re-Animator. We finally decided on the Potter's Field because practically every body in Christchurch was embalmed, a thing, of course, ruinous to West's researches. I was, Waleed, I had a religious visionary experience in 1992. God appeared to me and sort of gave me instructions. It was drug-induced, sort of. But like I had a conversion experience. I was an atheist, and then I had a vision of God, God consciousness in the landscape. So I've been religious since then. It's kind of madness, but it's useful. It's positive and productive. I encourage others to engage in it intentionally as they can. I particularly encourage prayer. I think people should start praying without even worrying about whether they believe in God. I just think it's good mental practice. It's really good for your mind and your soul, and eventually you'll believe in it. Like you can pray yourself into believing that what you're praying to is really there. Whether or not it's a mental trick, I don't know, but it's a really useful mental trick if it is. What do I think? How much gods are there? I don't worry about it. I mean, I have ideas about how to pray. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I really actually don't. I think that whether or not God is monotheistic or like I think God presents as what we think God is. Actually, I think it's like the Wizard of Oz. Like how when they get to the city, every door and gate they go to, it's the same guy in a different costume. I think it's like that. Like I think you get the God you pray to, but it may as well all be the same God in the end. I mean the Western religions, the children of Abraham, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, the idea of a non-localized, omniscient, omnipresent God was new with these religions. As was the idea of seeing a religion as one God being sort of competitive. Like you can't drink both Coke and Pepsi. You got to pick one. That was new with these religions too. But my religious ideas come from my encounter with God in the wild in the world when I was 22. But yeah, I just don't think these subjects are very interesting. I'm only worried about religion in terms of moral and ethical application. How does God want us to behave? What does God want us to do? What naturally follows from the way our brains are wired? I'm much more concerned with the real world at all times. Sublunary matters. That which is not sublunary is meant to assist us in addressing that which is sublunary. Like we're all standing in the gutter, but some are looking at the stars. I think we're meant to be aware of the stars, but look down at the gutter. Yes, I like to read books. I'm going to read some more of this one right now. Yeah, I'm going to finish this chapter for sure. We're reading Herbert West Re-Animator by Howard Phillips Lovecraft. I am in the middle of chapter 1. I was by this time West's active and enthralled assistant, and helped him make all his decisions, not only concerning the source of bodies, but concerning a suitable place for our loathsome work. It was I who thought of the deserted Chapman farmhouse beyond Meadow Hill, where we fitted up on the ground floor an operating room and a laboratory, each with dark curtains to conceal our midnight doings. The place was far from any road, and in sight of no other house, yet precautions were none the less necessary, since rumors of strange lights, started by chance nocturnal roamers, would soon bring disaster on our enterprise. It was agreed to call the whole thing a chemical laboratory if discovery should occur. Gradually, we equipped our sinister haunt of science with materials either purchased in Boston or quietly borrowed from the college, materials carefully made unrecognizable save to expert eyes, and provided spades and picks for the many burials we should have to make in the cellar. At the college, we used an incinerator, but the apparatus was too costly for our unauthorized laboratory. Bodies were always a nuisance, even the small guinea pig bodies from the slight clandestine experiments in West's room at the boarding house. Waleed, thank you for subscribing. Waleed, I've read the Quran. Of course I've read the Quran. Everyone should read the Quran. Yeah, it's more important now than ever, especially in the West, where people have this idea that Islam is some kind of dangerous or evil religion. It's not at all. The Prophet, may peace be upon him, was, of course, a general. He was a leader in war. And so there's a lot of material about race war in the Quran, but it's not any different than the material about race war in the Old Testament. And the Quran is, I think, better than the Old Testament or the New Testament in embracing the fellow religions as fellow children of Abraham. Yeah. I would, yeah, I do want to read the Quran again soon, actually. But I keep waiting for somebody to tell me if there's a, like, I know it doesn't translate easy. It translates easier than the Old Testament. Like, it's almost modern Arabic, but it's pretty old. It's still pretty old. Is it like 1800 years old, something like that? I'm not right. That's not the right number. Don't anybody think I just got that right. We followed the local death notices like ghouls, for our specimens demanded particular qualities. What we wanted were corpses interred soon after death and without artificial preservation, preferably free from malforming disease, and certainly with all organs present. Accident victims were our best hope. Not for many weeks did we hear of anything suitable, though we talked with morgue and hospital authorities, ostensibly in the college's interest, as often as we could without exciting suspicion. We found that the college had first choice in every case, so that it might be necessary to remain in Arkham during the summer, when only the limited summer school classes were held. In the end, though, luck favored us, for one day we heard of an almost ideal case in the Potter's Field, a brawny young workman drowned only the morning before in Sumner's Pond, and buried at the town's expense without delay or embalming. That afternoon we found the new grave, and determined to begin work soon after midnight. Can you get me Instagram? I'll find and give you. I am Roganautica on Instagram. You can also follow me at Facebook. I don't really hang out there anymore. This is the only place to really get in touch with me. Like, I kind of make sure of that. I have an email address, but I never catch up with it. Yeah, a couple of the fans try to hang out with me at Instagram some and send me pictures and videos and stuff. There's a Discord, but I ignore it. Like, I am way too distracted. Hey, Sean, how are you? You see the poster? You see the look at where I'm at. Look at this setup. I'm never gonna get to finish reading Re-Animator. Hold on a second. Let me blow my nose. I'm having a snot problem. I actually have to sneak off camera so I can snort some. It's a special, carefully metered blend of fentanyl and a little bit of Molly and some other stuff I like and brought together. It's I mean, it would be what do you call it? What would you call it? Oh my God, I lost my words. To continue the joke, right? I wanted to say that this strange drug I'm claiming I'm snorting, copyright controlled, whatever the like medical equivalent of patent pending. Is that what it would be for a medication? Patent pending? You don't patent medicines, do you? There's a word I'm totally forgetting. There's a word for exactly this purpose. Today is the day that cutting back on the stimulants I've normally been slightly overdoing is working out right. Like, I cut way back on the caffeine today. In the early part of the day. Oh, the cats do. On which platform am I most active, Waleed? I'm in here every night. I make sure I'm here at midnight every night. Is basically that's the only thing that's predictable with me. And yeah, I don't. I go to Instagram every now and then. But I forget to. I barely do. Like I've only posted like 10 pictures. I only am on Instagram at all because a girl who comes in here and wanted to flirt me up and send me pictures dragged me over there. Uh, and my hard drive collapsed that has like 500 photos of me in red on it, unfortunately. When I get the hard drive recovered, I'll post a bunch of pictures to Instagram. And I'm on Facebook. Like I do check in there still, but I don't post there or interact there. It's kind of toxic. So like, I mean, every online space is kind of toxic, including in here. But at least in here, most of the time when it's toxic, it's because I'm in a bad mood. So like, I have that much control in here. Like everyone I like to hang out with is in here. I don't even have real world friends. This place is bleak. It's a darkened, bleakened place. Yeah, the cats run across the back of the chair a lot. I don't know how much they do that while I'm reading. They both, particularly Pyewacket, are aware of the phone and the camera, but it's odd to like their understanding of it is odd, but the spatial aspects of it they do kind of get. Pie fucking hates Bob Dylan, man. Like I downloaded like key tracks from like the first 7 or 8 Dylan albums so I could learn some new songs. And I've been listening to Dylan. I have iTunes on the new computer. It's awesome. I have my music library back. QCabe hasn't come back in here for like 4 days. I'm finally like using the QCabe money and the QCabe stuff. And tomorrow I'm gonna buy a car probably. Can I read a book online? I think actually the answer is no. I don't have a good monitor yet for my computer, and my eyes are all fucked up and I need new glasses. Like that's why I have a real physical, real world book that I'm reading. Otherwise, I would be reading like there was a bunch of public domain stuff we were talking about me reading on stream. And it's a pain in the ass for me to read anything off of a screen until I get my glasses fixed. I might get contacts. I don't know. I look cool with glasses. So maybe I shouldn't get contacts. Yeah. I'm better with the professor look with the glasses. Without the glasses, I got kind of a gangster look. It's all right. Yeah. My eyes are a little weird. I like the glasses. All right, I'm going to finish reading chapter 1 of Herbert West Re-Animator. Stop me. I mean, you guys can keep stopping me, and I'll just keep getting back to it. Just this part, and then we're going to hang out and talk about. We're going to. Sean, I don't know if I don't know if I've ever worn a bow tie. In the screenplay for the Attic Expeditions, the description of the character Dr. Coffee says that he's the kind of guy who looks comfortable in a bow tie, or says that he looks like he's the kind of guy who would wear a bow tie on purpose. I can't remember which I said, but it's Ted Raimi. And I think he is in a bow tie. I guess with that description, like costume has to put him in a bow tie. Like otherwise, what are you gonna put him in suspenders? I guess you can wear suspenders and a bow tie, actually, huh? Yeah, I was going to say, without the glasses, I have a little bit of this odd quality of being like an old person who looks perennially young. Like this, like Keith Coogan, Seth Green, like permanent ingenue thing going on. Like I only have a touch of it. I don't have it anywhere near as bad as those guys. But yeah, with the glasses, that's kind of muted. Like with the glasses, I look sort of comfortably middle-aged and like dadly and scholarly. I look like the professor on Gilligan's Island, which is funny because I don't think the professor on Gilligan's Island wore glasses, actually. He did have the gray at the temples. I remember that. In fact, his hair looked great given that they were on an island, come to think of it. Zoe, you're just going to come here and act weird?
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Zoe, you gonna be cool? Yeah, all right. It's strange, this thing with them going in and out of heat, like Pi and Zoe both, they don't come in my room to cry and yell and whine and howl. They go do it in the rest of the house. And then they come in here and they calm down. Like, I don't know, I was saying earlier, I don't know whether that's because I have some energetic influence on them that calms them down, or whether they actually think I'll get mad at them. Like, they're just cognizant enough to know that if they're going to act like they're in heat, or they might actually just think they're to get out that's downstairs, like the doors that you can let them out are downstairs. Oh, you hadn't seen the poster, Jennifer? Yeah, Sean sent that poster. It's awesome. Waleed, I've thought about studying and converting, but not this year. Like I gotta get situated where I'm gonna live. I've thought about taking up Orthodox Judaism, and I've thought about taking up some kind of Orthodox Islam of converting. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought seriously about converting. There's an Islamic institute here in Lima, and there's nothing Jewish, and that's actually what got me started thinking about it. Because when it comes to like mystical and religious ideas, I get along with Muslims better than like being sort of oddly old-fashioned and weird about Jewish ideas is the same as being sort of old-fashioned and weird about Muslim ideas. If you're American, like American Muslims and American Jews have a lot in common in this way, at least some kinds of American Muslims and Jews. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about Islam, Waleed, but I know a little bit. I've read, I've read the Quran. I know that when we mention Muhammad, the prophet, may peace be upon him, what we say. Yeah, no, I have been thinking about this a lot, actually. You might be interested, Waleed, in the cartoonist Dave Sim. He's a mad genius who wrote and drew a comic book for 300 issues called Cerebus that started as like a parody of Conan. Really brilliant comic book. He eventually like triggered a religious conversion because he was doing a series of parodies of classic literature, and he was raised atheist, and so he bought a Bible to do like a parody of the Bible. Like his character Cerebus becomes a religious leader, I think the Pope, and then like reinterprets the Bible, like starts giving it notes. So Dave Sim, on the fly in real time while he's writing and drawing his comic book, becomes religious. Like studying the Bible is the engine for conversion because, of course, the Old Testament, the Bible is a magic book, of course. So, but he ended up converting to Islam. He's some kind of Orthodox Islam now. I don't know what, I don't know who he follows, and he's Canadian. But yeah, really weird, really interesting guy. He's really brilliant, very much a maverick on his own planet. His comic book Cerebus is one of the great masterpieces of all comic book history and 20th century literature. I recommend it highly. The stretch about the Bible where he goes through his religious conversion is actually kind of boring because he loses his sense of humor. He goes through a lot of the, like if you've read the book of Genesis and it's hooked you, like it's gotten you, then you go through the same thing that he is. Like do I have any questions about Islam? Not yet, Waleed. Like I said, I think next year I'm going to address this matter of religion. I'm planning to move. There's no way I can stay in Lima. I have to move to a new town. I'm working on doing it as quickly as I can, but I'm going to see who's in the neighborhood when I get where I'm going. Like, I want to be involved with a religious group. I need a church. Like I need a religious family to be supportive and helpful in times of trouble. And I think I fit in more with some kind of Orthodox Islam or Jewish group. It's going to depend on who's in the neighborhood. And I'm not real happy about being Jewish these days. Like I'm very pro-Palestine and anti-Zionist. But I have been all along. I have been since I was a child, which is one of the reasons why I have this weird sympathy for Islam all around. Like I've been paying attention because I was raised Ashkenazi Jewish in Cincinnati. And so like I was aware, like I'm a smart kid. So at the age of like 8, when I got the brief at Temple, I was like, oh, I see. It's a racist
it's a racist tier system in the society in Israel, and it's wrong. And the Palestinians are being oppressed right now. And so I've been like, I knew it would come to what it's coming to now. I just knew when it was going to happen. You keep poking the bear bites eventually. So don't allow the environment to influence you if they are not religious. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be around people that you can. I tried a Christian church on the fly in Pennsylvania. I don't like the tone of Christianity anymore. And it's gone kind of dark and evil. In the United States, like I'm in Ohio, which again, I don't know that I could find any religious group here in Ohio that would be supportive and useful in the way I'm talking about. And certainly if I approached Muslims here, they would be very mistrustful. Like that place I saw that's on the street here is there's probably some immigrant community here that I'm not aware of. Like there's an Iranian neighborhood or something. Um, like to have a building with a sign out front at all in Lima, Ohio is like making it a target. There's nothing Jewish within like 60 miles of here. It's weird how much shit I get just for being Jewish and saying I'm Jewish. Like it's not. It's because I'm in Ohio. Like, I mean, nobody's happy with anyone being Jewish these days. But like, yeah, here in Ohio, I don't want to be involved with any religious groups. I don't want to meet a girl. I don't want to make a friend. I don't want to have a drink. This place is fucked up. These people are fucked up. That's how I feel about where I am right now. When I move, yeah, I'm gonna let God's hand, inshallah, I'll find my way. And yeah, once I get there too, this is also one of these things where the thing I do with the live streaming, like I have to get my ducks in a row. Like I can't get involved with any kind of religious group unless I can fit. But I have been thinking about it. Probably people in here are surprised to hear me say this. Maybe they're not actually. Many Mormons in Lima. Sean, did you know that there's a Mormon girl chasing me, trying to convert me last year when I came here? And I had actually. So this homeless shelter I was at briefly in Pennsylvania. Oh, Zoe, you gotta stop doing this, buddy. Just settle down, man. It sounds cute, but she's sort of in heat now and she's rolling around on a table in what looks like an uncomfortable way. Like the air is rizzing her up. Do you want to go out of the room, Pie Wacket? Every now and then over the last couple of hours while Zoe's been doing this, Pie turns around and hisses at her, which is really out of character. So Sean, when I first moved here and my heart was really collapsed, one of the first jobs I got was this grocery store job I talk about where they were just crooked and robbing the grocery store blind. No. This was actually a different grocery store job that I only worked for a couple of weeks. My heart, I couldn't do it yet. I was just fresh out of the hospital. I really couldn't work yet. But one of the times I was out front having a smoke on break, to a Mormon missionary girl came over to me. She was like 18 or 19 and super cute and really smart and nice and tried to talk me into, yeah, there's a Mormon place around the corner. Like she wasn't, she wasn't like proselytizing in the structured way that Mormons do, though I see those kids riding around too, like in pairs on bicycles. Thank you, Waleed. Inshallah, which means God willing, by the way, or yeah, pretty much that's the closest English equivalent. That's actually one of those weird things where like I don't see I guess it's Muslim coded, so like Westerners are like trained to think it's creepy to say anything in Arabic, but inshallah just means God willing. Like it's sort of like shalom in Hebrew. It's more useful than any other language's equivalent of it. Like once you know the phrase inshallah, then like I just say it all the time now. I don't say it all the time in here because I haven't been putting things in God's hands much in here. Mostly I've been complaining. One of the books I have talked about reading in here, though, and it might be a really fun one to read, is the complete translation of The Thousand Nights and One Night, or the Arabian Nights, which I have I have read. In fact, I've read it twice. It's only been translated in its entirety once. It's the Mardrus and Mathers translation. Now, I can't remember which of those translators is which, but one translated the whole thing from Arabic to French, and the other one translated it from French to English. And they did this over the course of, I think, the 1890s. Um, uh, and uh, and it's brilliant. Like there's no. I've tried to read the Richard Burton Arabian Nights. I had it was a really hard to read public domain copy of it actually. And the children's stories in the Arabian Nights, of course, there's some very famous children's stories in the Arabian Nights. Aladdin and his Magic Lamp, the Seven Voyages of Sinbad, Ali and the 40 Thieves. But most of the best parts of the Arabian Nights are bawdy stories. They're like erotic stories. And all around, it's just like if I had to narrow everything I've ever read down to 10 great books and like really narrow it down to 10 great books, like, the Bible is one of those books. The Arabian Nights is it's really, really wonderful. It would be fun to set out to read in here. Now, it's front loaded. Like, it was published in 4 volumes. I think the original version from the 7th century is 4 volumes. It was separate, like, again, gathered and compiled separately. So it's like the Bible, like it's chunks of compilation, and like all such compilations, the hits are crowded towards the beginning. So volume 1 of the 4 volumes of the Arabian Nights has almost all the good stuff in it. But it's all good. Like, so it's like, volume 4 is like the 4th album by a great band. But yeah, I've thought about buying a copy. The copy I used to have, I've had to throw away. That one I had to specifically literally put in the trash. I wasn't happy about it. But I read it to death. I bought it when I was 17. It's been reprinted since then. There's lighter weight copies of it, so. Nope. I didn't buy it. It was a gift from a friend who was with me when I saw it and wished I had the money for it. I'm gonna read the rest of this chapter of Herbert West. Yep. I got like 2 more pages. I'm not gonna get distracted again. I'm gonna come up for air and interact with the chat again once I finish reading this. That afternoon, we found the new grave and determined to begin work soon after midnight. It was a repulsive task that we undertook in the black small hours, even though we lacked at that time the special horror of graveyards which later experiences brought to us. We carried spades and oil-dark lanterns, for although electric torches were then manufactured, they were not as satisfactory as the tungsten contrivances of today. The process of unearthing was slow and sordid. It might have been gruesomely poetical if we had been artists instead of scientists, and we were glad when our spades struck wood. When the pine box was fully uncovered, West scrambled down and removed the lid, dragging out and propping up the contents. I reached down and hauled the contents out of the grave, and then toiled hard to restore the spot to its former appearance. The affair made us rather nervous, especially the stiff form and vacant face of our first trophy, but we managed to remove all traces of our visit. When we had patted down the last shovelful of earth, we put the specimen in a canvas sack and set out for the old Chapman place beyond Meadow Hill. On an improvised dissecting table in the old farmhouse, by the light of a powerful acetylene lamp, the specimen was not very spectral-looking. It had been a sturdy and apparently unimaginative youth of wholesome plebeian type, large-framed, gray-eyed, and brown-haired, a sound animal without psychological subtleties, and probably having vital processes of the simplest and healthiest sort. Now, with the eyes closed, it looked more asleep than dead, though the expert test of my friend soon left no doubt on that score. We had at last what West had always longed for, a real dead man of the ideal kind, ready for the solution as prepared according to the most careful calculations and theories for human use. The tension on our part became very great. We knew that there was scarcely a chance for anything like complete success, and could not avoid hideous fears at possible grotesque results of partial animation. Especially were we apprehensive concerning the mind and impulses of the creature, since in the space following death some of the more delicate cerebral cells might well have suffered deterioration. I, myself, still held some curious notions about the traditional soul of man, and felt an awe at the secrets that might be told by one returning from the dead. I wondered what sights this placid youth might have seen in inaccessible spheres, and what he could relate if fully restored to life. But my wonder was not overwhelming, since for the most part I shared the materialism of my friend. He was calmer than I as he forced a large quantity of his fluid into a vein of the body's arm, immediately binding the incision securely. The waiting was gruesome, but West never faltered. Every now and then he applied his stethoscope to the specimen and bore the negative results philosophically. After about 3/4 of an hour without the least sign of life, he disappointedly pronounced the solution inadequate, but determined to make the most of his opportunity and try one change in the formula before disposing of his ghastly prize. We had that afternoon dug a grave in the cellar, and would have to fill it by dawn, for although we had fixed a lock on the house, we wished to shun even the remotest risk of a ghoulish discovery. Besides, the body would not be even approximately fresh the next night. So taking the solitary acetylene lamp into the adjacent laboratory, we left our silent guest on the slab in the dark, and bent every energy to the mixing of a new solution, the weighing and measuring supervised by West with an almost fanatical care. Almost. The awful event was very sudden and wholly unexpected. I was pouring something from one test tube to another, and West was busy over the alcohol blast lamp, which had to answer for a Bunsen burner in the gasless edifice, when from the pitch-black room we had left there burst the most appalling and demoniac succession of cries that either of us had ever heard. Not more unutterable could have been the chaos of hellish sound if the pit itself had opened and released the agony of the damned, for in one inconceivable cacophony was centered all the supernal terror and unnatural despair of animate nature. Human it could not have been. It is not in man to make such sounds. And without a thought of our late employment or its possible discovery, both West and I leaped to the nearest window like stricken animals, overturning tubes, lamp, and retorts, and vaulting madly into the starred abyss of the rural night. I think we screamed ourselves as we stumbled. I think we screamed ourselves as we stumbled frantically toward the town, though as we reached the outskirts, we put on a semblance of restraint, just enough to seem like belated revelers staggering home from a debauch. We did not separate, but managed to get to West's room, where we whispered with the gas up until dawn. By then we had calmed ourselves a little with rational theories and plans for investigations, so that we could sleep through the day, classes being disregarded. But illiterate? Well, I'm not illiterate. But that evening, two items in the paper, wholly unrelated, made it again impossible for us to sleep. The old deserted Chapman house had inexplicably burned to an amorphous heap of ashes. That we could understand because of the upset lamp. Also, an attempt had been made to disturb a new grave in the potter's field, as if by futile and spadeless clawing at the earth. That we could not understand, for we had patted down the mold very carefully. And for 17 years after that, West would look frequently over his shoulder and complain of fancied footsteps behind him. Now he has disappeared. Anything else? I mean, this is enough Lovecraft. I don't know why it seems to take so. It's weird that hanging out in chat seems to take longer than reading, actually. I'm not sure, like, there's this weird, like, collapsing of time effect when I'm hanging out with chat. Like, 10 minutes of hanging out is twice as long as 10 minutes of reading Lovecraft. There we go. I don't mind trolls, as you guys know, but boring trolls is like, come on. Also, illiterate, really? Like, come on. That's like trying to insult me by calling me young or fat. Like, really? Illiterate? um, Yes, that's not a problem around here. Literacy. This is the last problem I have. For Christ's sake. What time is it? 1:30, huh? Wow. I feel like I should go a little bit longer and just hang out. Man, it's such a quiet night. It was Tuesday, nobody's around. And I do want to, I downloaded CapCut, so, oh, I totally forgot to ask. Well, nobody's in here, really. I don't know, I don't know, the best software to use to download videos for editing in CapCut. The the downloading software, the open source free app I downloaded to use to convert files to steal and download music from YouTube for my iTunes library will also do videos, but it's $9.99 a year. It charges me that up front. And I thought maybe somebody could suggest something free or something that, like, if I'm going to pay $10, I might as well have the best possible app and maybe not the one I'm already using. Yes, Waleed. I don't, I take a shower a couple of times a day exactly like that. And I pray pray all the time, pray a lot. I'm pretty much always praying when I'm not, like, in here. So it's not like something I need to do. I'm already doing all of that. All right. Yeah. I hate to just duck out. But I'm tired and woozy, and I'm gonna have a long day tomorrow. Thank you, Ali, you as well. Yeah, I got through a whole stream without anybody being the first person to donate cash. That's okay. I'm like more chill than I should be because the way it's set up, there's no way that the money can help me unless suddenly the channel was like 10 times as engaged and there was a whole lot of reason for people to throw me money. And yeah, knock wood, because nothing, that isn't anything good. Like, yeah. So the way the donations button works, I don't know what it looks like at your end. I got to install a donations button today and 2 levels of membership. I don't have members only content yet. It just asked me to set up the prices. But when I looked at my page, I couldn't, like, I don't know how you buy a membership. I also, when I looked at the page for this video, I couldn't see how you donate exactly. Because it's my page, I guess. So, like, I can't see the controls. So whenever somebody actually donates money through the donation button, they can tell me how it works. And then I will actually know how much of that money I get. Like, I can look at what it says. I can look at what came through. I am going to create members only content. I'm going to learn to make video essays with clips from movies. I say video essays. It's funny because I'm looking at the tutorials for CapCut. The videos about how to make videos in CapCut. And it's funny because there's a whole bunch of really advanced editing trickery that is auto set, like swooshing around and zooming in and framing the human figure out of the background stuff. All of the standard video toaster effects. So in the 80s, you only had one real rack of special effects for video editing. And they were mostly really trippy and useless. We call them video toaster effects. I don't remember why. But the current generation's video toaster effects, like, I've got no use for any of that. I just, like the videos I was making a year ago, where for 10 or 15 minutes I talk about a movie at the table here. I just need to cut in picture and sound from movies under that, or in between that, both, some. But that, I'm going to make some kind of series of movie reviews that way. Yeah. I'm I'm just starting to figure out how to do it though. Like I said, I would like some advice about what program to maybe use for downloading video, stealing whole movies off of the internets to edit video from them. Like specifically, the program I'm using now just says convert YouTube to MP3, and it wants $9.99 to upgrade to being able to do videos. And I'm thinking, I bet there's one that does YouTube and other sites for $7.99. I just don't know what the app is. I was hoping for a recommendation, but there's only been about 10 people in here all night. So some other night, someone will help me with that. It's weird, the rhythm of this. Like now that I'm gonna start editing, I'm a little more comfortable with just being clever and lit into the void on the nights when no one's in here. Like, I suppose later people watch these streams, but it must be just random tastes. I don't know. But I can certainly edit them myself, but I don't have them on the computer. I have to download them to my new computer from the YouTube channel. So so I guess I'm gonna call it a night. I came in a little bit later than I meant to. 3 hours is enough. I guess. Oh, someone just came in here. I was about to call it a night. I feel like I'm missing something I was supposed to do. Oh yeah, ghost hunting, but nobody's in here, so I'm gonna save that for when there's more than one person here and I'm tired. Yeah, I feel like I'm straight missing something that was on the docket, so-called. Oh, talking about 1984 movies. Yeah, I can wait. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tonight. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is very, very busy for me. It is all errands, a gajillion errands. I got to do everything tomorrow. So I have to go to like 6 different places. It's actually kind of a shame I can't live stream the whole time I walk around for 3 hours. I don't have enough data on my phone. When I would do that. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here, everybody. You guys are the best. You guys are keeping me going. I'm pretty depressed. And I'm pretending I'm not doing a great job lately, but I'm doing a much better job than I would be if I wasn't doing this with you guys. Thank you. Something's got to give. Something has to change. I got to get out of this town. Hopefully tomorrow I will be able to buy a car. And that'll make things easier. This whole episode of mine has been such a nightmare. Well, it could be worse. Probably won't be before I'm done. In fact, it almost certainly will be. Welcome to America. Anything else going on? No, I need to figure out how to download movies so that I can cut them up. And download videos of myself, actually, so I can cut them up, turn them into better videos. But yeah, I started to say that all these weird fancy video effects that you can put all over any video, like that are presets. Like, I'm not sure people understand that everyone can unconsciously see that they're presets. Like, it's all just a bunch of flutter and noise. It doesn't signify. It doesn't actually look like work was put into the editing in the way that it looks like it does, if that makes sense.
So, yeah, I only have to learn really minimal editing. In fact, I'm having trouble finding the tutorials that lead me directly to the specific small handful of editing tricks I need to know. All right. God, it's exhausting dealing with these roommates. I want to make pancakes, but I forgot to buy pancake syrup because that's how smart I am. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.